Miss Gayle here from Boulder City Library. I wanted to show you some dendritic prints. They're a lot of fun and they have really interesting designs. I'll show you some examples and then I'll show you how I made it. This first one, you can see all the little tiny details. Very fine little lines. This one turned out kind of nice. I really like this one. All of these were done with acrylics. I used obviously black paper to start with, and then these are metallic paints, and I love how they kind of have a little shimmer to them. What you're going to need to make these, first of all, you're going to need paper. A lot of times I just use scrap paper to start with, just to practice on. Once you get the technique kind of figured out and practiced a little bit, I encourage you to try different papers. You could even put them onto greeting cards, those blank greeting cards, or if you put it on a real thick card stock, you can make some really neat greeting cards because it does give the look of branches. So this is one way of achieving a kind of a foresty look, especially in the winter with bare branches. The word dendritic comes from the ancient Greek, means to form branches or to branch off of, and that's what you can see here. It looks like little tiny branches of trees. It gives the appearance of someone really taking a lot of time and with a teeny tiny little brush making all of these, but that's not what it is. I'll show you how to achieve this look very simply. What you'll need is paints, acrylic paints. Just go with your paper. We're in the fall season. I'm going to use these colors just because I want a fall look. You'll find some colors that you like, probably 2 or 3. This is really messy, so you might want gloves if you don't like getting your hands messy. Also need 2 pieces of glass. Now if you're going to be doing this project with either really young children or someone that might get carried away with the amount of pressure, there's a safer way of doing this. Do it on both so I can show you the different results you get from this, or plastic. Remember when you were in school and you wanted to turn in a really good report to your teacher because you wanted an A, so you would get the clear report covers with the little side things and stuff your A paper in there, and there she goes. Well, we're going to use one of those clear report covers, and all of this stuff I believe you can get at a dollar store, 99-cent store, one of those kinds of places. These were just out of a picture frames. I just bought some dollar picture frames and took the glass out of it, and I used the frames for something else. And then I believe I got these book covers also. We need to get a package of these to your kids for their reports, and then just snag one before they get a hold of it. These are easier for younger ones because there's no glass and there's no chance of it breaking and getting anybody scratched or anything. Also from the dollar store, I just have these smaller glass pieces from smaller frames that I also got at the dollar store. These are really great if you just want to do a small card or something like that. And you'll also need a brush. I like to use these, they're just the cheap kids brushes, but they're kind of bristly. If you're doing this with the glass pieces, you're also going to need either a palette knife or a very tiny little screwdriver to separate the pieces. Here I've put this is just on the plastic. I'm laying it onto the white papers just so you can see what I'm doing because it's see-through. So I've just put some paint on here, and I'm just going to spread it around a little bit. This is just acrylic paint. Get some of that orange, other than up here. Blend a little bit of orange down here. Maybe some, just a blotch right there. Now you don't want it to dry, Once you have it all on, you're going to close it up. You're going to use your second layer. Now if it's the book cover, I usually just leave this on because it helps in keeping it together. And you're just going to smush it down. On this part you can smush pretty hard. That's when you want to be really careful if you have glass and little ones, or glass and somebody that's very enthusiastic about their art. You have to be careful not to press and break it. So the plastic is much safer for little ones. After you've smushed it down quite a bit, you're going to open it up. It's easy to open. You just get the two sides and you open it up, allowing that design to take place. And that's how you get all those little designs and all those pretty little things. Very lightly lay your paper on there and just barely, barely, barely touch it. So it's just touching. You're not trying to paint the paper, but you do just want to touch where the paint is. And then you peel it off very, very slowly again. And that's creating even more of these because for the second time now it's being pulled away. And there you have it. You've got all your pretty shapes. I'm going to set it to dry. And now this makes a very nice background if you wanted to do something maybe with a silhouette. Maybe a leaf print might be nice too if you find a nice big leaf outside that you think has a pretty shape to it. You'll have a big leaf shape or shapes. And that might be what I do with this one, but for now I'm going to let it dry. And while that's drying, you can actually get a couple more out of this. This side has got just as much paint. And over here I have just a piece of scrap cardboard. It looks like it maybe came out of, I don't know, some packaging of some sort. I'm going to try that just to see how it goes. I'm laying it down very gently, and I'm just very gently going to try and pick up as much of that paint as I can as it slips and slides. Yes, it is plastic. It is slippery. So I'm just pressing lightly. And here, oh, this is kind of cool. You can see it now coming up. You see, this is the front of it. And then, oh, that's kind of neat. Here's what we have now on this cardboard. It's kind of, that almost looks like a waterfall. Right here, it looks like a waterfall. Like the water's coming down here. In fact, I might even do that. Make this one, looks like some trees and there's a waterfall, and maybe just cut it here and just use this portion of it for that. And then I'll save this and I'll see what else I can find in this one. This to me looks like it would be a really neat bookmark. I might cut it here and have just a really pretty design on a bookmark. There's a lot of things you can do with this. And you can wipe these off and reuse them. It comes right off pretty easy if you get it before it dries completely. And I usually keep mine and use them again and again because they are so easy to clean. And really, that's where the messy part is when you clean it off. Which is okay with me. It's kind of cool, I think. Okay, now we'll try it with the glass pieces, just so you'll see how that's done. Basically the same thing that we just did, the same process, but this time just to show you the versatility in this and just some other ideas that you can do with things. I have here some address labels that you can, there's one missing there, but those are the sticky kind that you can run through your computer and you can put addresses on them, or whatever label you're going to make. If you want, you could decorate your labels and have them very pretty, and then once the paint dries, then you can run it through your computer. I do not recommend it. Not that I would know about these things, but yeah, you really need to have the paint dry. And then the other thing I'm going to show you is to use parchment paper. This is just parchment paper that you use when you're baking cookies. This one you can use to make wrapping paper if you have a small gift that you want to wrap. Or you might even want to use this in your artwork. Sometimes I like to use this kind of paper in my artwork because you can kind of see through it a little bit, and sometimes I want that. Okay, so I've got my pieces of glass, and there's still some paint on them that's dried, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be completely clean. I've used these a lot, and there's paint. Oh, I guess it was on this side. So I'm going to pick some different colors though. Since I did those colors, I'm going to find something else, just for giggles. Chosen some different colors. A little peach color that I really like. And this fun little green color. So I'm going to put those on. This time I'm just going to put blotches around. Just here, there, and everywhere. At random. This color. The one I was going to use here is dried up. Living in the desert. This is what happens sometimes. So I'm just going to put some little blobs there. And now some peach. This one's feeling kind of runny. Oh. Okay. Now I can just kind of spread it around a little bit. And now I'm just going to do this because I can. So I'm just spreading this around however I like. Mixing. And now, green fingers. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. That is, for me, that's the fun in it. That might be part you like too. Alright, I like that. It's weird, and I like weird. Okay, I have no idea what's going to happen here. We're about to find out. So this part is where you have to apply a bit of pressure. And you can see as the bubbles are being formed, there's little air bubbles in there. So I'm trying not to move it around a lot. It does tend to want to slip and slide a bit. But I'm trying not to have it do that. But there are some air bubbles forming that are going to create all of those little dendritic shapes that are just so beautiful. Okay, now is where I'm going to need my palette knife to undo this, to open it up. So I'm just going to twist this a little bit so I can grab it. And I want to go real slow for those shapes to form. And there we have it. And I did miss some spots, but I think that's going to be okay. Let's see what happens here with our sheet of labels. I'm just going to put them on here. And I'm going to be real careful and lightly press down so that it gets on all of them. They all want to be beautiful. Fancy, fancy. Even you. That's right. Even you. Okay. Now we pull it up slowly and gently. Ooh. And there we have it. Oh, this looks kind of like Matisse-y a little bit. Like Henri Matisse with the... You know, I bet we could get another... I had a lot of paint on there. I'm gonna take the back of this, which is empty, and just see what happens, because I'm curious. That's all. I'm just curious. See what happens on black paper. I'm gonna press down. A little bit. This will also clean that glass a little bit more. Less cleaning for me to do. That's right. And we'll see what happens. Ooh, I like that. Look at that. That is kind of cool. Oh, and you can see some smaller little details. Looks like a fish there. That one looks like a shark. He's coming at you. No, I'm just kidding. So that is really pretty. And definitely like those colors on the black. It's quite a nice contrast. Okay, so there's that one. This is the other side of that same one that we just did with the glass. I'm going to put our paper on it. I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to leave a border on it. There we go. And I've got all that lovely paint over there. So I think what I'm going to do is grab the other paper where I ripped it in half. And my cat is playing with. Well, thank you, lovely. Okay. There's that. Now because there's wax on this paper, it gave it a totally different look, I think. And it took the paint and did different things with the paint. Not bad, but just different. Let me grab the other half of this with this paper. You have to move. There you go. Now we'll just grab it here and the same thing, lightly. And I'm going to smush it. If you go too hard with it, if you have a bunch of those little teeny tiny branch looking things, if you smush them, they disappear. So you want to be careful not to put too much pressure. All right, and here's the other side to that one. Oh, this looks like seaweed down here at the bottom. I think I would hold it like this and do some seaweed. I might make that into a fish. Oh, it's like a little underwater scene right there. That's what I see anyway. So I might either just use this as wrapping paper when it dries, of course, or I might want to go further with it and make it into a little undersea picture, and then I could frame it if I wanted to. There's a lot of things you can do with it. There's some little leafy looking things up there. You could even cut this and use it in assemblage projects like mixed media, which I really love doing. And you can cut things out and you can put this onto a canvas as part of a bigger picture. And really that's all there is to it. So I showed you what you need, the glass pieces or the book report cover, acrylic paints. I just use these. There's apple barrel and different things. I've not tried it with any other kind of paint, so I really can't say what would happen, but I always encourage people to try it. You never know till you try it and see what happens. You might like the looks and you might say, now I know why they only use acrylic paint. I'm going to go ahead and clean up, and when I get back, these should be dry and I can show you some other things you can do with them. Now you know the process, so you can experiment with it and decide what you want. And this one was the cardboard. I do like how it ended up on the cardboard, but it didn't really cover very much here. So I think I'll do, because it is cardboard and it's thick, I think what I'll do is I'll cut up, maybe I make some bookmarks. These will make nice little bookmarks or something like that, where you need something a little sturdier than paper. For making a bookmark, what I did was I just used regular scissors and cut out a little strip here, and I'm probably going to give it a little border with one of these washi tape. Oh, that's pretty. This might look good. Some geometric shapes. Oh, the colors will look good with it, so I'm going to use this and go around it. I've picked out my trim, or you could go around it with some stamping ink. Just grab the edge of it and go around the whole thing. You can add more paint if you want to paint, like if you see little faces in here somewhere, like, oh, that looks like a little face. You could put a face in it and turn it into a little person. I always see all kinds of things when I look at this, like there's somebody sitting on a rock in the wind. But so you can look around and see, like, yeah, I would probably make something out of that. This one is just about dry, and I think what I'm going to do with this one is put some leaves on it and just use it just as is for a background, because I think it's a very pretty background. One thing that I might suggest that might be fun as a family project, if you get larger paper or any paper the size like of a placemat, you could make these placemats for your Thanksgiving dinner table if you like. If you took it and attached it to a larger piece, maybe even of colorful paper, maybe an orange or a nice brown for fall colors, that could frame your work. Then you could cover the entire thing with clear contact paper. You can wipe it off if somebody spills gravy or cranberry sauce or something like that, and you can use them year after year. I used this little stencil thing. I just traced around it and colored it in with some markers and things. Another thing you could do, if you don't want to draw it right onto your piece, you can cut a leaf shape out of some paper. And I have a lot of paper that I've made in the past, different projects I've tried. I've got quite a few things that I've used, just mostly just having fun, just kind of playing around with paints and prints and stuff like that. So I have a lot of different ones that I might use. This one I used with paint. It was a metallic paint and alcohol, and I just dropped alcohol on it, and it made these really neat little cells. It created all these little bubbly cells. I can show you how to do that sometime. But I might, cut a leaf out of one of these. Here's some more with this would make a really pretty leaf shape. I think I'll use this. And I've got another little container here, these drawers. I might use this one. It's got some golden shimmers to it. This was just the back of a box of something. I don't know what came in it. Maybe a pizza, or maybe a box of cereal. I don't even know. I painted right over the top of it and I can't tell. But anyway, I paint on anything. I have garbage that I paint. Junk mail. I get a lot of junk mail. And this is the junk mail I was talking about. It's just an envelope that I use. I hang on to these, and I just painted this one. You can see it. This one's from Progressive, and I open it up, flatten it out, and put colors on it, so it's got color and design. I did go a little crazy with that, just having fun. I don't know what that one was. I did both sides of that one. Anyway, find a pretty color or colors that you have and that you want to make a leaf shape out of. Now that I've selected some different options, if you didn't want to just paint every one of them on there, and if you don't have leaves in your yard that will work, you can either freehand something that you think might work or use your little stencil again. I think I'm going to use this one. Maybe I'll even make a couple of them. But you just trace around it and cut it out with scissors. And here you have it. Now it's just a matter of arranging however you want what you think they should. They're just falling down out of the sky or landing on the ground. Anyway, you can rearrange them and make more or less, however many, but you've already got the pretty backdrop with all the colors and the interesting look to it. The rest is up to you. I just glued these on with a little glue stick. I glued that one on with the glue stick right there, and so I'm just going to use the glue stick for the rest of them. but I won't bore you with that. Who wants to sit there and watch somebody use a glue stick? And I do have this gold pen that I might want to just do some little lines with. And even on these, maybe just do some little highlights. Some of the shapes. And you can even put your family member's name on here if you like. Now these, if you don't want to paint them on or cut them out, you can get die cuts already cut out for you at the craft stores. Just look in the scrapbooking section and there should be some in there, or whatever. It doesn't have to be a leaf. Here's the bookmark. This was using that piece of cardboard, and I just cut off a little piece of it, or a big piece of it. And then I edged it with washi tape, and I added a little ribbon. And if you wanted to, you could write something here, if you have a little poem or someone's name or something like that. You could add stickers, different colors. There's a lot you can do with that. I just don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I'm getting some ideas. This one to me looks very whimsical and fun. I see so much in it that I just don't know where to start. It's just full of picture ideas. I don't know why, but it reminds me of something of like Alice in Wonderland. Maybe it's like, I see a little mushroom here, and maybe that's Alice sitting under it. Or maybe the caterpillar, I'm not sure. But there's just so much to this, and I don't know why I like it so much. I just really love the color combinations that were used. And I really like how there's a lot of blank space where there isn't paint. And on this black paper, it looks a lot better than what I had on the parchment paper for some reason. But that could just be me. I'll think of something to do with it, I'm pretty sure. Oh, looks like a little fish walking along. He is angry. That is an angry eye right there. Boy, is he mad about something? I don't know. Maybe it's because something is on his head. He's got a rowboat on his head. And then it looks like a wizard in the rowboat. Alright, now I'm going to have way too much fun with this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and learning a few things. Happy crafting!